All right. Well, welcome everyone to the 14th Annual Growing Online Learning Conference presented by the Illinois Community Colleges Online. The theme for our 2022 conference is Quality Online Teaching, Learning, and Support. We hope that this year's conference is beneficial as the pandemic continues to challenge us with the need to adapt to new instructional and support strategies to ensure student success. My name is Scott Ryle. I'm from the College of Lake County, and I'll be the moderator for today's session. I want to make sure I send a thank you. ILCO also would like to thank Heartland Community College for generously providing the web conferencing platform that we're using today and for this year's conference. Please note that captioning is available for these conference sessions, and you should have a button in your Zoom or even a notification at the top of the Zoom window. Right. Our schedule, very quickly, for the 3 days is on the screen. You can also find the conference, the schedule, at the conference website at ilco.net, ilcco.net, under resources and events. Links to attend the live sessions will be found on the conference website as well, and your registration confirmation email will also have links. If you have any questions on accessing these sessions, you can contact Jeff Newell at jeff.newell, that's jeff.newell at illinois.gov. Recordings of these presentations and handouts will also be available at the conference site on ilco.net following the conference. So ILCO is pleased to welcome Kona Jones. Kona is the Director of Online Learning and coordinates the Faculty Academy at Richland Community College. She is responsible for the development of faculty and student technology training materials, provides instructional design support to faculty, oversees the assessment of online courses, and facilitates faculty professional development. Kona loves teaching and is an adjunct instructor of statistics and developmental psychology. Her passion is student success, and in 2019, she was awarded Adjunct Faculty of the Year. Kona is also a Canvas coach and advocate, contributing extensively in the online Canvas community and elsewhere. Please welcome Kona Jones.
Hi, everyone. It's great to see you. Hold on just a second. I'm going to get my session loaded up. Okay, so hopefully you're seeing the correct screen. Is that yes? Okay, thank you, Anna, for the thumbs up. I appreciate that. With the dual monitors, sometimes it gets a little wonky and you end up sharing the wrong screen. And granted, you'd just be seeing my presenter view screen, but still, I mean, it's not like my medicine cabinet or something, but we'll stick with that. Well, thank you for having me. I'm excited to talk with all of you about this topic. It's one that I've struggled with as an instructor, and it's also one that, as my role as director of our Teaching and Learning Center, that I've worked a lot with faculty. Today's session is coming primarily from my instructor hat. So even though I work with a lot of faculty, this presentation is really coming from my own teaching and my experience working directly with students. So to get started, though, all right, so first, we need to talk. It's important. All right, so I know that we have made, probably all of you educators, administrators, we've probably made lots of videos and handouts and tutorials and all sorts of things for our students. And unfortunately, what many of us have found is that quite often students do not watch these videos, right? Probably by a show of hands, you know, how often has a student emailed you and you're like, did you watch the video, right? How many of you had that experience? I bet more than a few of you. How many times did you make a video because you knew, oh, students really need this? And then you checked if you have any kind of analytics and you see that like maybe half the class watched the video, right? And it's heartbreaking. You're like, I put all of this into my videos. And so I'd already been teaching online pre-pandemic, But with the pandemic, I really understood that the importance, the true real importance of video and how important it was for students to watch their videos or watch the videos I created. So first of all, air hugs to everybody. It has been a really rough 2 years, and life still has not gotten back to normal. So here's a big air hug for all of you out there and everything you're going through. But what we're going to talk about today, well, maybe can provide some tips, some ideas, just some things that might help you get your students to maybe watch a little bit more of your videos. So we're going to talk about the top 5 tips to get students to watch your videos, and this is based on student feedback. So this isn't necessarily direct observations from me or even working with faculty. This is in my own teaching, and this is from a statistics class, online statistics class. I just asked my students over the course of a couple semesters, why do you watch videos? Why don't you watch videos? And so I just kind of asked them some of those open-ended questions and then just let them answer it. And it was in a survey format, so some students wrote me like this much and some students wrote me that much. So I did kind of a qualitative analysis. Even though I am a stats person, I can do qualitative and I understand the value of it. So I did a kind of a qualitative analysis and came up with these 5 main themes that I'm going to share with you. Now, I will fully recognize that these are specific to my class. These are things that, my students in a statistics class came up with. I will say when I asked them what could I do to get them to watch more videos, I didn't specify my class, and I even included in there, you can just say in general for any class, but it was students in my statistics class who were answering this. Also, the way I teach might be different from how you teach. So don't take this as you should just implement all 5 of these things. Take what might work for you and give it a try. But if something doesn't work for you, that's perfectly fine as well. So this isn't a one size fits all. This is take anything you can, and if it works for you, then awesome. So the very first one, and this was emphasized by students again and again, keep it short and chunk the content. And this was a huge one. This is something that students just said again and again, was that please keep it short and chunk that content. And by chunking the content, really what they meant was, and this is the 6 minutes is kind of based on best practice, it's based on research, that if you keep your videos around 6 minutes, students are more likely to watch the entire video. When it starts going over that, students kind of start edging down in terms of their watching of videos. This is echoed by the students who said, I don't watch some course videos because of the length. Sometimes I just don't have an hour to watch a video and therefore have to try my best without it. Which for me, I'm like, how sad is that, right? That a student just looks at the length of the video and just says, well, I'm out. I just don't have an hour to watch this video, so I'm just going to try my best without it. And I don't know about the rest of you, but for me, that could make or break them in terms of being able to successfully do a quiz or successfully complete an assignment, is whether or not they watch this video. And so it's just, that's not good. I need my students to be able to watch these videos. Additional feedback, a student said, with a series of short videos, I can watch a video, complete part of the assignment, and attend to the kids or dinner. With a long video, I often can't complete it before life interferes. And I thought that was really nice, like a really kind of nice idea to think about, that when you're chunking it, it allows the students to kind of say, oh, well, I might not have an hour, but I have 6 minutes. I have 8 minutes. I have 4 minutes. I can watch that and then maybe do a little bit of the assignment, then go do something else, and then I can come back. And so I thought that was a really valuable thing to think about in terms of, why having those kind of shorter videos might help with your students. So my quick tip here is just create a short video series for each unit. So you can see I've got, and this is just an example from my own course, I've got my Chi-Square lecture notes, and I've got my Chi-Square example and my Chi-Square example 2. You can kind of barely see this one. The top one is like almost 6 minutes. The next one is 6 minutes, and the next one is 5 minutes. And so what I've done, and there's more than this for this unit, but you can see that instead of just doing a big hour-long, here's everything for Chi-Square, I've provided these little bite-sized chunks. So that way the student can say, I just want the introduction. Well, that's the notes. Or the student can say, well, you know what? I think I remember that one example, I'm going to go back to that example and take a look at it. So instead of having to go through all the lecture notes to get to the example, they can just go to whichever example they want to take a look at. So there is my quick tip. Create a short video series. Second, so this is the second thing. And if you have any questions or comments or anything at any point throughout the presentation, feel free to shout it out, whether that's just like, hey, this works for me, I do this, or if you have a question, or like, how do you do that? Or does this work? Or how do you make it work? So my second thing that I heard from students, and I will tell you this one, probably out of all of them, surprised me the most, is that, and not the whole thing, but part of it, that students want to see and hear you. And the hearing part, I was like, okay, I got that one, but the seeing you. And basically what that means is that students really want to actually see you. And I remember, and maybe this is just like something because I've been here for a really long time, but I remember when first starting out, you know, they talked about the talking head, right? You remember the talking head thing, and like students don't want to see a talking head. And so I'm like, oh, I don't want to do a talking head. So all of my videos would focus on my screen. And so I would do screen capture. And so I wouldn't include me in the video. I would just have what was on the screen be part of the video. And what I learned from surveying the students is that they really wanted to see me in the video. So they wanted to see the screen, but they wanted a little box so they could see me as well. And so to hear this from the student point of view, I would much rather watch a video made by the teacher than a random person on YouTube. So that's another piece, is students said they were much more likely, and this was a common theme, that if they saw the videos were all YouTube videos, so not one or two thrown in here, but let's just say, you know, the majority of your videos were from someone else on YouTube, the students said they were far less likely to watch those videos than if you, the teacher, created them. And the rationale, because I asked kind of some follow-up questions for this, but the rationale was that the person on YouTube isn't the person making their exams. It isn't the person grading their assignments. So that's why they want to hear what you have to say, and they want to hear you explain it, because you're the person who's creating the assignments and you're the person doing the grading. Now that being said, I do have some YouTube videos. I do have some TED Talks and, you know, whatever scattered throughout my course, but the majority of my course is me doing my videos. And then that other part that I was talking about, seeing my professor's face in the video helps keep my attention because I can read their emotion. And I hadn't thought about that before. And so I will say this is probably one of the biggest things, getting this feedback from my students, that was like, oh, and it really made me think. And so moving forward, I've started including me in my videos. So in my example here, my quick tip is do a screen share with your webcam. So you can see here I've got me in the video in the corner, kind of like, hi, everybody. And I noticed that now that I include me in the video, I'm already pretty animated, even just when I'm talking. So even when before the students could see me, I was already pretty animated, but now that I know they can see me, then I'm really animated. Then I'm using, because I honestly talk with my hands a little bit. And so now when I'm talking about, you know, okay, so the bell curve when it goes up, and so now I know the students can see me while we're on the screen and talking about the screen. And so I think that's kind of a cool addition, and the students seem to really enjoy it. So quick tip is definitely make your own videos, but also include you in those videos. And then, of course, I've got to throw this one out there, add captions and transcripts. I didn't get a lot specifically, except I have captions for all of my videos, and I've had students thank me for that, just because many of them will be watching it when they're in a place like a public place and they don't have headphones, and so they can turn on the captions and they can still be like watching the video and reading the captions while they're, you know, at work or while they're someplace that they can't use headphones or if they forgot their headphones. The other thing I'll throw out is transcripts. That was kind of something I started doing during the pandemic when I was doing like some Zoom sessions with students. And so I'd end up with these long Zoom sessions, and they're sometimes hard to break apart. And so I'd start putting in a transcript as well as something where I would say, you know, at this point, you know, I flip from this topic to this topic. And so I kind of had almost like a table of contents for some of the longer Zoom videos. and students really seemed to appreciate that. So it wasn't a full topic, but it kind of went together with the other one of just you creating your own videos. Okay, so tip number 3, focus on what's most important. And I know for that one, you're probably like, okay, like what in the world does she, of course I'm focusing on what's important. You know, I'm teaching, right? I'm telling them everything that's important. Also for me, obviously as an instructor, I think all of my content is important. I think all of my content's amazing. And I think everything I do, the students write, that they should be watching every video and they should be doing every example problem, right? And all of that. But what I was getting from students is if there are too many videos, I feel overloaded and end up skipping some. And it was like, oh, that's not good, right? Because sometimes, you know, even as much as I love my content, I can look at my content and say, here's some really, like, here's the mission critical. Like, if you can only watch 4 videos this week, these are the 4 videos you've got to watch. And then here are the videos, like, it'd be really great if you watched, but you could probably do the assignments without it. Like, it would help you, but you probably could do it without it. And I had never really thought about organizing my videos quite like that. And so reading this feedback, it was like, oh, like, okay, like I hadn't really thought about that. Sometimes students obviously don't know which videos are mission critical or not. And so they're just skipping, just randomly deciding on their own which videos to skip or not. Also, students said, and this is part of that focus, they like having a worksheet to fill out as I watch a video. It keeps me focused on what I'm learning. And that was something that I kind of started doing. I provide basically an outline that students can fill in as they're watching the video. And so it allows students to focus. In fact, this is another one. I kind of asked for students for a little bit extra feedback on it. And I, like, what is it about the worksheet? And they said, well, when I've got that worksheet, I'm paying attention to the video because I'm filling in the worksheet as I go along. So instead of just passively watching the video or taking notes haphazardly, because unfortunately, as many of you probably know, students aren't always the best at taking notes, and students aren't always the best at knowing what they should take notes on. So having this kind of outline, so I don't give them the definitions of things. I will put formulas in just because sometimes the formulas are big or ugly. But it's mostly just kind of here's some main headings, or here's some terms, or here's some things. And then I fill in the worksheet, and my students kind of then do that along with me as they watch the videos. And so this keeps them focused on what they're supposed to be doing. Also, if they get to the end of the video and they've got blank spots on their handout, they know they missed something and that they need to go back and catch it again. So quick tip, separate out required and extra resources. And so in this example, I've got, extra resource, no handout for this. And so what I did, and it was hard to fit on the screen, but like I had at the top, here were like those mission critical videos. Like, you just got to watch these or else it's not going to go well for you this week. And then I started having underneath, separating out, here's those extra resources. And I've gotten a lot of appreciative feedback from students that they really appreciate, that they know, here's the ones I've got to watch. And then if I've got time, and I will say a lot of students still go and look at the extra resources, but some of them don't. And at least I know they know, here are the ones they really need to watch and that are super important for my class. Also, a quick tip, provide a handout or outline. So here you can kind of see an example of an outline. This is just from our chapter 1 notes. And so then we would go through and I talk about, the difference between descriptive and inferential, or categorical and numerical. And I would, provide examples, and, there'd be a bunch of stuff that they could then take notes on and things like that. And then another one is use annotations or embedded quizzes. So we use Canvas Studio, which is something that plugs right into Canvas to do our videos. And that allows us to do embedded quizzes and embedded annotations, which if you use Studio and you haven't used annotations, they're really super cool. And that's what I've got right up here as my example. But even if you don't use Canvas or Canvas Studio, there's still, I think it's Edpuzzle, and there's other different video platforms that allow you to directly embed quiz questions or different things into your videos. And I found those are really helpful in making sure students are keeping focus and paying attention to your video. First of all, it's because the video stops. So they can't just start playing the video and then look, and stop paying attention, because the video will stop and then ask them that quiz question or pull up this annotation. And that will, get the student to have to be like, wait a second, do I understand what I just listened to? Did I get that? And then they have to, answer the question. And whether you take a grade on it or not, it still makes the student focus on, if this instructor is asking me this question and I don't know the answer, maybe I need to go back and rewatch that part of the video. So really valuable, really good way to help students focus in and not just kind of zone out as they're watching your videos. All right, number 4, right? So there's 5, we're getting to number 4. Emphasize the learning value of the video. And once again, this might seem like, okay, well, why wouldn't it be valuable, right? Why wouldn't it be something the students would want to watch, right? Because I don't know about you, but when I make my videos, I do it because I feel like it's going to be important and, good for the students' learning of the material. And so when I kind of got this theme, it was kind of a strange one, but it had kept coming up with students. And so where I was getting this from is teachers need to provide more emphasis on why the information on the video is necessary to our success in the course or on assignments. And I was kind of blown away. I will admit, I was kind of like, for real? Like, I need to explain to you why the videos are important? And yes, apparently, and because this was a theme, this wasn't just one student. This was a theme that teachers need to provide this more emphasis. And I think I've got one more quote here. If they didn't state that the videos would relate to homework or quizzes, I was less likely to watch. And so it's like, okay, wow. So students really need you to spell out, these videos are important for your learning. You can't just read the textbook or just looking at the PowerPoint or whatever other learning materials you're providing. You need to specifically let students know that these videos are valuable to their learning, that these videos will help them on their homework or their quizzes or their assignments or whatever it is. Students really do need to hear it spelled out. And I was shocked, but apparently they do. I will say that I'd already kind of been doing this, but once I got this feedback, I'm like, okay, I'm going to really make sure and emphasize this. And it has been going even better in terms of students seem more likely to watch my videos than I think possibly in the past. So a tip that I did was I started providing links to the videos from the assignment instructions. So here's just an assignment instruction. And so before they could even take the quiz, in the instructions, it says, review the material in quiz 3, identify the hypothesis notes before attempting this quiz. And if they click on that, it will take them to, here's the link to the handouts, and then here's the videos that go along with the handouts. And so it's basically, I would like to say impossible, but occasionally a student slips by. But it's almost impossible now for a student to miss that, hey, these videos are important for you when you do this quiz. Like, or if I've got an assignment, I'll put them in the assignment instructions. Like, here's the video. Or sometimes if it's just the video, I'll just embed it right in there. So that leads me to my next tip, which is create video or assignment directions. And so what better way to help students understand the value of the video is when the video is part of the actual directions. This is something I've gotten lots of feedback from students on. They love it when I make a video talking through the assignment directions. Now, I don't do this for every single assignment, but a lot of my assignments can get maybe a little complicated, or there's just, it's one of these where you're like, if I was in class, and this is kind of my rule of thumb, if I was in class, how much would I explain this to the students? And if it gets beyond, a short amount, I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to make a video. So I still have the written typed up instructions for the students that's in the directions, but then I'll go through and make a video and actually talk through. And I really do find myself adding little extra things that I might not have written, but when I'm just talking about it, you'll say, oh, and when you're doing that, make sure you remember this, or hey, that links back to this. And so I found that I say more and provide kind of more tips or hints on how to do well or what to make sure they do when they do that assignment. And then students just love this. I get feedback all the time from students saying like, I was kind of scared to start the assignment, but then I listened to your video, like of you talking through the assignment directions. And like I felt, oh yeah, I could do that assignment. I can do this. And I was able to do it. So I think it also takes a little bit of intimidation out when the student looks at the directions and thinks, oh, I'm never going to be able to figure out how to do this. but then they can hear you talking through and explaining it. And I think it really helps students to maybe feel a little bit more at ease when it comes to taking or doing assignments. All right, number 5, keep it engaging and fun. So what I mean by this is, students said, one instructor, in fact, a student, I didn't include the quote here, but a student was talking about an instructor who regularly, where she made her videos is kind of in the living room. And so there would be a cat walking through or kids in the background or, all sorts of crazy family things. And they loved watching their videos just because it was real and it was like real life. And so it was engaging like that. I've also heard students say that they like it when the instructor tries to have a little bit of humor and just tries to keep the students talking to them instead of at them, if that makes sense. So here, I appreciate it when videos seem relevant and there is some humor. I will say I try to be funny, but I don't have good dad jokes, and I'm not a dad. I don't have good mom jokes. So I'm really not funny in that haha way, but I try to just be myself in my videos. I am who I am. I don't put on a different persona. I don't put a suit jacket on. If I'm just wearing sweats and a t-shirt, I've got my t-shirt on and I just, and like I said, that's not everybody. For me, I just go with it. I just make my video and I don't worry if I kind of flub up a couple things. I kind of then will make fun of myself. Okay, sorry everyone, I messed that up. Let's go back, and I don't edit out my mistakes. I just say, oh, you know what? That number should have been this. Forget about it. I'm crossing it out in the video as I'm talking about it. Pretend I said this, and we'll go on, just to show them that I'm humor, that I'm not humor, that I'm human, and just to kind of keep it, more personable. When an instructor is engaging in a way that makes it feel like they're doing the work alongside us rather than just telling us how to do stuff. And that's talking, to the students, here, I'm explaining how to do this and I'm going to follow along, and I'm going to do this with you as we're working through this problem versus talking at them, right? And there really is a difference and students can kind of pick up on that difference. So my tip, fill out your video handouts in real time. So the text part, that you can see, the typed out stuff would be the handout I would give students. And then I would start with a blank handout and I would use my different colored pens and I would be doing the problem as part of the video. And so it was I was doing the problem with the students, even the different colors. And so I started having students say, I use different colors too. I saw the different colors you use in your videos. So I went and got the different colors. And I fill out my handout so my colors match your colors. And so anything I can do just to kind of keep it, a little fun or a little engaging, so students can pay attention with it. All right, so technically we did our top 5, right? We did, but what do students love more than anything? Extra credit, right? So I could have included this as number 6 because a ton of students mentioned it. But I am kind of on the fence about the whole extra credit thing. I think we could turn that into a whole presentation on itself, is the value of extra credit in your classes and whether you offer. So instead of, having that whole conversation, I'm just going to let you all know that one of the huge things that students said that could get them to watch your videos is if you made it extra credit. I will tell you, I do not make it extra credit for mine, but students said it would get them to watch it. So at the end of a random video, say, okay, if you have watched this entire video, email me your favorite color, insert random question, and I'll give you extra credit. So here's a student saying, and some students said, I had instructors do this, where they would just throw out little random Easter eggs in their video. If you're still watching this, tell me, your favorite movie, email me that, and I'll, do this, or answer this question and email me the answer. And so instructors do kind of insert these little random Easter eggs. And the students, if I know that there's Easter eggs in the videos, I will watch the videos just so I can get that. And I think the only potential issue there is, are the students listening and paying attention to the video, or are they just listening enough to get the Easter egg? And so it's yeah, but regardless, if you want students to watch your videos, extra credit. So to summarize, where are we at with all of this? Keep it short and chunk the content. So if you can, keep it around 6 minutes. I know sometimes, and I teach statistics, and I know sometimes I can't do a problem in 6 minutes. And so sometimes mine go a little bit over. I'll say sometimes if it's going to be really like, I'm like, oh man, I need like 12 or 14 to do this statistics problem. I'll actually have like example 1, part 1, example 1, part 2, and I'll kind of chunk it out that way. Students want to hear and see you. So making your own videos, and you do not have to be an expert. You do not have to be, I use no real video editing. I just do it. Like a 5-minute video takes me 5 minutes. I don't edit. I don't make fancy stuff. And I ask students, I'm like, well, you know, this YouTube video is fancy and it's got all these animations. And they're like, yeah, we don't care. Like, just do it. We just want you. And I'm like, okay, fair enough. Well, you can have me, but this is all you're getting. Like, you're getting me, and this is pretty much it. Also, students want to see you. Yay, they want to see you. Focus on what's most important. I know, it's crazy, but make sure that you're focusing in and letting students know, like, here's the mission critical stuff. Make sure within your video, if possible, that you're providing key kind of points so students can see, like through a handout, oh, if I didn't hit all these points in that video, I'm missing something. Or you're embedding quiz questions or annotations. Emphasize the learning value of video. And another one, like, seems no-brainer, but, you know, just tell students, this is important. Like, this stuff is going to help you do well on the quizzes, the homework. It's going to help you understand it so that you can write that paper. Link to the video or include the video in your assignment directions. And last, just keep it engaging and have fun. Students are very much like, you know, like small children. Like, they can tell if you like them, and they can tell if you're having a good time. And if you're having a good time teaching the content, they can tell. And it's more, you know, think about it. Would you rather hear someone doing like monotone, or would you rather have someone who was like, all right, everyone, we're going to do statistics today. And like, okay, granted, you can be a little obnoxious, and I try not to do too far over into the obnoxious side. But, you know, keep it engaging and have some fun with it. All right, I think we have mission accomplished, that I have provided the 5 tips. Like I said, this is not a one-size-fits-all. I don't expect anyone to be like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I need to do all of these 5 things, and then all students will watch all of my videos. I am still learning. I am still trying to improve. What, if anything, what I would challenge you all to do is ask your own students, what could you do to encourage them to watch your videos? Because like I said, every class is different, every teacher is different, every topic is different, and what works for mine might not work for yours. So I would challenge you, just ask your students, whether that's in an open discussion, survey, you know, whatever it is, just ask your students, you know, what could you do to get them to watch your videos? What tool do I use? I use Canvas Studio. Sorry, I just saw that come up. So I do use Canvas Studio. I also, though, I will admit, oh my gosh, it's getting so good. So this is the crazy thing. This is the first time I've done a video in my new office. We just moved in, and with my office light on, you couldn't even see my face. And so I turned my office light on, but my wall is all glass and no one's moving in the hallway. And so the lights turned off. And so it slowly got darker and darker. So I apologize that now it's really dark in my office. Yeah, I use Canvas Studio, but I will say I also use Screencast-O-Matic quite a bit, and that's another really great option. I also have used Snagit. So, and that's like, it used to be Jing, and now it's Snagit. But Screencast-O-Matic and Snagit are probably my 2 favorites. So I will say, and I literally have on my computer right now, Snagit, Screencast-O-Matic, and I use Studio. So I just bounce back and forth between the 3. I really don't have a problem. It's just at my college, we have Studio, which like literally is integrated directly with Canvas. And so I end up using Studio just because it'll then embed and it's all pretty and perfect and I don't have to do anything. But Screencast-O-Matic, Snagit are both really great options that I use all the time as well. Yeah, and here's what Jing is. Yep, thank you very much, Tim. Yep, Screencastify. Thank you, Sarah. That's another really great option as well. But otherwise, thank you. Feel free to connect with me at any point if you have any kind of questions, or you want to talk teaching and learning, you want to talk statistics, I love talking statistics, whatever, feel free to reach out, connect with me. And I hope you've gotten some ideas and some things that might work, or if anything, just talk to your own students. I think it's amazing if you connect with your own students, the feedback they can provide, and being open to that feedback. So that's it. How did you decide how to cover your topics and break it down? That's a really good question, Sue. So for me, I really tried to look at like, okay, if I'm lecturing, where's like a good break point? Like where would I pause in my teaching? I think a lot of people when they teach face-to-face, they've got like that time where they take a pause and they might read the room and see if students are understanding. And usually like where I would stop and read the room, that's where I stop my videos. Or if there's this place where I would stop and then do an example, then that's where I would stop and then, stop the video and then do the example separate. Because you're right, it can be. And sometimes 6 doesn't work. I mean, as much as I'm like, it should be around 6, sometimes it needs to be 7. Sometimes it needs to be 3. Sometimes it doesn't have, 6 isn't the magic number. It's something to kind of work, like keep in mind. But, sometimes like I said, I will admit, I sometimes have 8-minute videos, sometimes even 9. And I hate that, but it's just like, there's not a perfect breaking point. But I do try to keep it around there. But that's a good question. That's not there isn't a one size fits all. Anything else? If not, go forth, create lots of wonderful videos. Enjoy. If anyone wants a copy of the presentation, feel free to reach out. I'm more than happy to share it with you, or even just anything else, any other questions you think of after the fact. I've been doing video pretty extensively with my students, even pre-pandemic, but I will say that during the pandemic, I really felt like I had to step up my video game even more, just because I don't know about the rest of you, but it seems like my students are even more easily confused and even more easily distracted than before. And so I've really felt like I've had to step up my video game a little bit more. So I feel pretty comfortable, pretty confident with it, but I'm also always learning. So if anyone's got any other tips or tricks, things they do that works, I would love to hear those as well. And I'm pretty sure I'm on time.
You are doing very well. So any other questions for Kona? All right. There we go. Some good thank yous coming up.
Well, thank you, everyone. I hope you have a great day and a great rest of the conference. There are so many amazing sessions coming up this week, but I can't wait to see.
So I have one more thing. So Kona, if you can stop sharing, I will share back again and show that schedule. There we go. I think. You guys see that? Let's try that one more time. All right. I don't know if that's coming up. Well, let me just
hit the black screen.
Yeah, that's weird. Okay. Well, let me just tell you that the next session is tomorrow at 10 a.m., where Morgan, Jane, and Lori, 3 colleagues from Parkland Community College, will present Creating a Common Ground for Student and Faculty Support. So please come back, join us tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. And remember that links to attend the sessions are on the conference website, but also in your registration confirmation email. And if you have any questions, you still have the ability to reach out to Jeff Newell, jeff.newell at illinois.gov. And the recordings of the presentations and handouts will also be available at that conference site on ilco.net following the conference. Thank you all for coming. Thank you, Kona, for the presentation. That was great. I got a lot of notes. And we'll see you all soon.